Hi there. Today we're going to work on the front derailleur. And the front derailleur on this bike is broken. It's torn up. It's in bad shape. So we are going to have to replace that. One thing we have to look at before we replace the derailleur is it attached to the cable from the bottom bracket or from the top. And this one is attached from the bottom. So when I went to the bike shop and got a different derailleur, I had to make sure I got one that was pulled from the bottom. And I'll show you what that means in just a minute. Before we start though, I just want to take a look at the tires. I blew them up yesterday just to see if they needed fixing, and both the front and the back tires do not need fixing. They're still blown up, and that's good. So we've checked the tires, and we put on the rear derailleur yesterday. We had to put on a new one because the old one was missing that bottom wheel down there. And so this one just worked well, and we tightened it, and we had to put on a new shifter and a new housing also because the shifter was and the cables were rusted into the housing. We will save that shifter though, and at some point I'll show you how to put a new cable in so that it can be reused. Shifters are kind of expensive, so you want to save parts. And we'll zero in. I have to apologize for getting in the way sometimes. It's kind of awkward trying to stay out of the way. All right, so there's the derailleur we're going to work on today. And we do have tools set up all around here, our metric tools. And here we go. All right, so this is the derailleur we're going to work on today, right here. So we have to loosen a nut here to loosen the cable that has a little crimped safety shield on it. I'm going to widen the view here a little bit. There we go. All right, I'm going to get a 10 here. Yeah, the 10 is one that works. All right, we loosen it up. And while I'm thinking about this, all the time we've been doing this, let's see, I'm going to just adjust this a little more here. There. How's that? All the time we've been adjusting the nuts and bolts, it's always righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. But once we get to the pedals, it's going to be a little different. And we'll talk about that. All right, I've got this loose. The cable came off. I'm going to pull the cable from the bottom. And again, that little shield is holding it. So I don't want to bang my knuckles on the ground here. I'm going to take this and put it under the cable and just pull hard. There we go. All right. Now we're going to take the cable out. There we go. Yep. All right, we've got the cable loose here now. I'm hoping it's not going to be rusted, but I don't have a lot of confidence in it not being rusted. All right, I'm pulling the cable. Oh, it's moving. Yes. That's good. The cable came off. Now I'm just going to check the shifter to see if the shifter moves the cable. I'm holding it up near the end here. Oh yeah. Okay, good. So the shifter and the cable are good. It's a little rusted down here, and I'll show you what to do about that. I'm going to get something else, and this is not a specific tool, but it sure comes in handy. Okay, don't go away. All right, I'm back. So there's just a little rust on here, but it's enough to make it shift really difficult. So I'm just going to take some steel wool, some ordinary steel wool, and just rub it on here. I'm going to hold this tight and just rub it back and forth to get that rust off of the cable. Because this cable is good, the shifter's good, it's all good. All right, that's much smoother there now. A little bit more here. And I'm just holding it out tight here. Yeah. That's good. All right. So I brought along a shifter, but we don't need it. And see, this one has just got a 1, 2, and a 3 on it because there are only 3 gears here. So it's made for the front chain ring. But we're not going to need it. I brought 2 different derailleurs. And looks like this one is made for a bigger tube here. So I'm thinking this will be the one we'll use, but we'll see. The derailleur has 1 bolt and 1 nut on the other side here. So I'm hoping that's a 10 also. I'm just going to reach around behind here. It has a place for a Phillips screwdriver or a wrench like this. And usually you can get a lot more power and hold things a lot stronger if you use the wrench rather than the screwdriver. So I'm just loosening this up, loosening the bolt. Took the bolt out here, undoing this. I'm going to put this back together again because it's good to save these parts. There's always some things that might come in handy. So the bolt itself might come in handy. These little adjustment screws here might come in handy. This nut and bolt that holds the cable, those get lost real easily. Like, remember I said, don't take things off. A lot of people take these off and then they set it down and then they bump it with their foot and it goes all over someplace and they can never find it. And then they spend half an hour looking for it, and then they don't find it, and then they have to go to the store and buy one. That is frustrating. Look at this, how it's broken, twisted. Oh, and here's another thing. When I was picking out one, this derailleur has a feature, a little screw here that opens up this derailleur. This one does not. What that means is, when we put this one on, we can open this up and we don't have to do anything with the chain. We just put this over the chain. If we have to use this one, then we've got to take the chain apart again. And that's doable, of course. We did it yesterday. But if we can avoid doing that, then it's a lot quicker and a lot easier. All right, so I do need a Phillips screwdriver. And let's see. I've got one on my multi-tool here. Let's see if this one will work. Okay, I've got the screwdriver on. Yeah. It loosens it up. Hopefully this will allow the derailleur to open up here. This is a very small bolt here. It's a bolt. The difference between a bolt and a screw, screws are for wood things. Oh, let's see. It's not coming loose easily. Nope, it's not coming loose. So we are going to have to take the chain apart again. Bolt back in here. So did I finish that? Bolts are made like for metal usually, and screws are made like for wood. That's kind of a generality. All right. Well, we got to take the chain brake tool and I'm going to adjust the camera a little bit again so we get down and see the chain. Alright, so I put the chain brake tool on the chain, I twist it, and it's moving, so that's good, it's in the right position. Now remember, I don't want to take the pin all the way out. Okay, I got it pretty far. Unscrew this, and let's see if we can get this out now. Yep, good. Okay. Now I'm just going to move the chain out of the way. And this has got a a bolt, and it uses an Allen wrench. There. All right, so I unscrew this. Just by hand, it's an easy unscrewing right now. So I'm going to check which Allen wrench size here, and I've got the Allen wrenches here. Okay, got the right size. I'm going to put this on. And it doesn't feel like it's going to be tight enough. It's made for a bigger tube. So I'm going to put this back together. Good thing I brought two of them along. Now, here's the other one. This one looks like it's got all the parts it needs. The two adjustment screws. And it fits a much smaller tube. I'm going to tighten it up by hand here. Do that first. And then we're going to have to put the chain on. We have to get it in a good position here too. It has to be above the chain rings here. Boy, we got to take these things off too. There's a little guard here for the chain, but it's all broken, so it's rough, so it's not, it's kind of dangerous right now. All right, we've got to get, let's see here. If we can get the chain. Now this end has the pin on it, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to fit through this narrow space here, but if we turn it a little bit, I think it'll be good. Oh yeah. All right, we bring that through, and we need a little extra chain down on the bottom here. Oh, now we need it back up here again. There we go. All right. And we're going to use it over here in this opening because I've got the pin on the inside this time. And that makes it a little more difficult. I'm going to adjust the camera again so you see what I'm doing. Then zero in a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, okay. So, move my sleeves up here. Now if I can just hook this together just enough to hold it in place, that would be good. I think I have to move the pin just a little bit more because it's stuck. It was easy to take it apart, but not to put it back together here. So I put this in there. Let's see if I can do this up here. Yeah. All right, put it in the chain brake tool. Turn it tight. It's going through the one side there, that's good. Okay, now it's hitting the pin. Now I can see it. There. Just a little bit more. Right now I bring it around here again and see if I can wedge it in here. There. Okay, good. Now I take the chain brake tool, and now it's a chain fix tool. You have to get it all the way in here. Move it down so I can turn the handle. Now it's tight, and I'm turning the handle, and I'm pushing the pin through, looking at it. I want to get it nice and even with all the other pins. I'm going to take it apart and see it, feel it. I got to do a little more adjusting here. Put it in there again, tighten it a little bit more. Making sure it's going through on the other side. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now it's through there. Now what I have to do is make sure the derailleur is far enough up so it's not hitting the chain ring. And just away from the wheel too. I don't want to be hitting the wheel. So now I'm going to tighten it. And again, don't forget, these are small bolts, so you could break them if you do it too tight. You got to kind of learn what works. Now, what I've got to do, I think I'm going to use a different housing. Just going to adjust the camera here again. There we go. Because I'm a little concerned that this housing had some rust in it. So I do have more housing here. And I buy it by the whole package here, the reel. You don't have, if you're just fixing one bike, you can buy a short segment. All right, line these two up together. I want to get it the same length. Take my cable cutters, not a wire cutters. Cut it. Still got lots here left over. And we'll save that piece. Nope, here. This is the new one that's cut. All right, take the cable, and there's a few little dents here, bends. That makes it difficult to put it through the housing, so I'm going to try and straighten it out just a little bit more. There we go, that's a little better. And don't forget, in the housing there's this little plastic stuff that sometimes makes it hard to get it in the beginning. Okay, it's going in. Keep shoving it all the way through. Let's see. Okay, it's come out. Has to go all the way into that little sleeve. putting the housing and the cable through these slots here. All right, we've got it through the one. All right, now we're going through the bottom one down here. It's coming. You got to kind of feel your way around down here. There we go. Got it through there. All right, now underneath down here, there's a sleeve that it goes through, but then it stops, and it has to be in that in order to put pressure for the cable to come up here. So the housing is going to go into that little slot there and stay there. All right. This is where I get in the way again. Okay, I gotta kind of see what I'm doing here without getting poked in the eye by the cable. I can see that little tube down there. This is where it would be good to have it upside down where you could see, or maybe on a stand. I gotta get my flashlight out. All right. I can see the opening. There. See that little slot in there? I can find that. Yep, that's good. Oh, you gotta be able to see the bike too. Maybe it's better just to see the bike than to see me. All right, now I'm bringing this cable up. And it has to go behind here. There's a nut on one side and the cap on the other side here. There. Goes in there. And I want to make sure this is in the down position here where I've got the most cable here. That's good. Now I take my 10 again and tighten it up. Oh, you know what? This little nut here, it's got square edges, so it has to fit into the hole here before it'll be tight on the cable. So I just have to maneuver it around. I think I've got it now. All right, let's see. Because I thought I was tightening it and it wasn't holding the cable at all. Yeah, this feels better now. This is going to hold the cable now. I've got those little square edges in the right position. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, now you watch that. I'm going to see if it's going to move. Yep, it's moving, but I didn't have it all the way down into the lowest gear here, so it's not real tight. So I've just got to adjust it again. Then I'll loosen it up. And then pull it tight. Oh, and there is another tool here that could be used. It's just a cable tightener. That's one that really comes in handy. So for Christmas, you could ask for all these different tools. In fact, you can get a tool kit that has a lot of these tools in it. All right, watch again. Oh yeah, it's moving. So we're looking at this bike. We've checked the tires, we've checked both derailleurs, we've checked the shifters, and the tires are good. There's just a problem though that I noticed, that the brake pads are hitting the tires. We're going to have to adjust that next time. I'll show you how to do pedals. We'll take apart these rough pieces that are on the chain ring here. We'll check the brakes up front here. We'll put on hand grips, and we'll see if the whole thing is working. Next time, we'll do a final check on this.